What's up, everybody? Welcome to AEW Uncensored Podcast. Riding solo again this week. Alan will be back next week with me, and then I believe Alan will be on indefinite hiatus. So it's looking like this is going to be a solo gig after next week. I do have some of the regulars that like to hop on with me. So, summer's over, so some of those guys might be freed up a little bit, and maybe we'll get some more of them guys on with us. So. Anyway, let's move on. We had a lot this past week. We had the pay-per-view, All Out. We had Rampage. Dynamite, then Rampage this past Friday. So we're gonna go over all that stuff today, thoughts on it and such. And yesterday was the beginning of Universal tapings for Dark, I believe, at Universal Studios. So they had 2 tapings. Curious to see how that went and what the schedules were, who was there. So I look forward to seeing that when that comes out and what kind of format they'll be using for the show at that point. I'm assuming they're just going to be flying in talent or getting local talent and just shoving them on those shows, taping as much as possible, and moving the moving that on to Dark from here out. So this way, like we spoke about it last week, sometimes you're going to burn out the crowd if you have too much nonsense before, say, a Dynamite or a Rampage. So I know Rampage, they're probably going to still be taping Dark Elevation because it's only an hour show, so that gives them more content. But for Dynamite, I believe they're just going to go with just their normal Dynamite show. And that's good because then that keeps from burnout before the show starts, because they're showing these lower quality talent matches, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean they're bringing people from indies to be on Dark, basically, you know what I mean? So people that aren't even signed, and they're wrestling some of the bigger names, but it's not as exciting. So by the time they get to the excitement of the main show, yeah, maybe they're gassed out a little bit because it's just too much wrestling. So I like what they're doing going to Universal with this. So let's see how that pans out. All right, so I think that's all I have on miscellaneous. Trying to think if because I didn't take any notes on miscellaneous, but I know there's been a lot of here and there shit over the week. Nah, I mean, nothing off the top. So let's just get right into All Out. So All Out starts off with Miro versus Kingston. A little surprised. Look who's back, Anthony. Anthony's found... What happened, buddy? Where you been? I haven't seen you on this from, 2 years at this point? I know we ain't been out 2 years, but still. So, all right. Anyway, we open the show with Miro versus Kingston. It's a good opener. I'm a little surprised, though. I'll get to some of that shit later on. Before the main event, YQT and Paul White was before the main event. I get you on kind of a buffer between Punk and the main event, but I don't know. I mean, you could have had a different buffer. I could just tell you that much. So, anyway, Miro Kingston. This was a good match. Some of those chops were super brutal during this match. These guys, they really, I love what Miro's doing right now. Eddie Kingston, it's like I hope this isn't over between these two because, yeah, your leg fell asleep, you jerk off. Because Anthony says his leg fell asleep. Yeah. Because I really think Kingston becoming the TNT champ would be, that'd be great after his career that he's had. He's getting older, and him and Miro put on a pretty good match. See, Kingston's not this guy that you're going to be wowed by in terms of his in-ring ability, but he definitely does a lot of that All Japan's early 90s strong style shit. The pillars, Masao Kawada, all that, Akira, Akira Tao, I'm blanking on the Burning Hammer. I forget his, anyway, the Burning Hammer, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, But he does a lot of the moves that these guys were famous for. A lot of that strong style. Like when I hear strong style, that's what I consider. What people consider strong style, not what people say that now with New Japan, but back then everybody was on All Japan's dick, the whole strong style and such, and now it's being used with New Japan as well, where they do some of that stuff as well, from what I've seen, but New Japan was always more of the Americanized style show of the two. So anyway. Moving on, the ref played that slow pin for the count perfectly. He used the turnbuckle. What it did was it gave him time to get out. Recover enough to get out of the pin. But he's playing off that he's fixing the turnbuckle. Then he came in for the late pin count. So that was great. And neither guy came out of this looking bad. So I really like this match. I really hope it's not done. Miro's been, like I said, incredible in his new role. He's over this fucking video game bullshit. And Kingston, I'm a fan of Kingston. I think he cuts great promos. And I wouldn't mind seeing him be TNT champ. Even when he went against Mox, I was like, I really wouldn't hate if he took the belt off of Moxley at that moment. Like, they really fucking got me hyped for that match. So, I really dug it. And, listen, I could see Kingston down the line taking the title. Maybe not like the longest run, but yeah, that being the AEW champ down the line wouldn't bother me. And I'd probably be interested in it. Like I said, maybe a 4, 5 month, 6 month reign. I'm not a big fan of short reigns. I think they cheapen the championships, but there are moments where you need like a transition champ, or somebody you give somebody the shine that they deserve. Maybe take it off them sooner than you would a regular a guy that you really want to hold the title for a while. So. After this, we had Mox versus Kojima. All right, this was a good This was a good hard-hitting match between the two guys. It's just like who's tougher than who type of match. The fists, the forearms, the chops, elbows. It was. You guys know I kind of hate that shit. I hate the overdoing of this, but this was the Japanese style. Again, so. They kind of bring it into these matches, and I don't know. I just don't like too much of the back and forth. It seemed like almost every couple minutes they were doing a back and forth between them. I didn't hate it as much as I usually would. It's like I'd hate to see MJF and Jungle Boy doing this. I'd rather see them doing what they can do is wrestle. We know Moxley's not going to out wrestle the best wrestlers out there or whatever. Kojima's good, obviously, but so I could see these guys doing the mano a mano, and I'm kind of all right with it. But the match was in a nice slower pace that I really feel wrestling needs more of that nowadays. There's a couple matches on here where I felt that way, and that was good. It's good to see slowed down, not so high pace. These high-paced matches, all it does is pop the crowd. It's not really, you're doing some wild shit, but you're also sometimes looking bad. You're making the, you're making the moves look bad sometimes. So I like the slower pace. It was pretty cool. At the end of this, Minoru Suzuki's music hits. Basically, he comes out, takes his time coming out. The crowd's popping. He makes his way to the ring. Him and Mox go toe to toe again with the the punch, the arm, the slaps, the chop, whatever the fuck, the elbows. Eventually Suzuki gets the upper hand and leaves Moxley laid out with the stuffed pile driver. So the gotch pile driver, I should say. So interesting. That's gonna lead to a match. I believe it was at Dynamite this week. I apologize. I believe it was Dynamite they had the match. I could be wrong, but we'll get to that later on. After this match, we had Statlander versus Britt. Now, this match was surprisingly off to a good start. I wasn't expecting much. Statlander before the injury, she was missing a lot of spots. She was you just could see her how green she was. You know what I mean? Britt, we all know, I mean, listen, maybe we don't all know. I mean, I know, Alan knew, a bunch of the guys in the chat get it. They, she's not that good. She's green. She's great on the mic. She's a great personality, etc., etc. But in terms of in-ring, we know she's not we know she's not that great. Surprisingly here, they were both pretty damn good. I'm seriously surprised, one thing that again showed up is Britt being so slow, weak, and lazy with the super kick. I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, she gets lazy in the middle of matches on top of not being seasoned, which is obvious because she hasn't been in the business that long. But, it's this laziness in the match that, it hurts. It's like you got to be a little more into it. I just feel like sometimes she just goes through the motions. There was that moment where Statlander was going for the superplex on Britt off the top rope. My God. I thought that she was going to I don't know. I just thought, like, I don't know why she tried to power it instead of letting Britt bring her over. I don't know if that was the purpose, just to show off her strength or whatnot, but I really felt like that was dangerous and not necessarily a smart move, because it took her a little bit to recover, and if she didn't recover, it could have went the wrong way, But yeah, that had me a little nervous there. The ending sequence here was super, super well done here. I really like this. I just wish when Statlander kicked out, she would have kicked out emphatically on that last attempt before she got put in the lockjaw. She kind of kicked out very meekly and weak. Like you kind of want to see, you're trying to kick out hard. You're trying to get out. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it was a little too weak, but it was a really, really good match overall. Like I was pleasantly surprised. So. I really felt like the women's battle royal should have been sometime before this match, maybe beginning a show or right before the match. So the winner could have came out and confronted Britt after Britt retained the title. I really felt like it would have led to a little more drama for the match. You know what I'm saying? Since it's literally going to be a one-off match that I guess they're kind of building a little bit of a promotion around it, but well, I don't know. I forget when the match is gonna happen, but they had a little thing on Dynamite and then Rampage. So, after this we had an Andrade promo. Now I had thought Andrade was gonna wrestle Sammy Guevara because I had seen a thing about it was probably some fan fucking with everybody. And, that's what I seen. I didn't dig deep into it. I just assumed it was legit. But we weren't sure. We mentioned this last week. So anyway, Andrade's promo, he says he was asked the reason Pac didn't make it. He said Pac's scared and asked Jose if he canceled Pac's flight. And then he asked Chavo if he canceled Pac's flight. Chavo kind of, looks the other way and says, I don't know anything. I don't know, American Airlines phone number, So he kind of makes it like he was the culprit why Pac wasn't there. So I like this. It sets up for a little something. Andrade was not happy. That's another thing. That's kind of something I wanted to talk about. Seems like he wasn't happy that he wasn't on All Out. Somebody had mentioned that he's stuck on AEW Heat, making a joke about Rampage being like WWF Heat, and Andrade liked it, and then I forget if that was deleted or whatnot, but it is what it is. I mean, you can't help it. It was not something that Pac was expecting. So, it's unfortunate, but you just got to kind of roll with the punches at that point, I mean, you're put in a great position in a good program. You know, it's not like you're in a program like fucking Malachi Black that he's stuck with fucking Cody Rhodes and the fucking Rhodes fucking fam, whatever they're called, the Nightmare family. You know, he's actually in there with Pac, who's, you know, Pac's fucking great, you know, so yeah, so it ends up, okay, so yeah, Pac and Andrade are on Rampage Friday night. So next up was the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in a steel cage. All right, now, the match itself was pretty good. It was pretty damn good. It was fun. It was exciting. You know, the fans were fucking hot. I mean, I got to say, this was the most sustained heat from the crowd, I thought, all night. And it may not be the biggest heat. We'll get to that. But the crowd was definitely hot. You know, I just wish that it was a more traditional tag team match inside the steel cage. I really would have preferred that over the whirlwind, just anything goes inside the cage match, all right? As good as I thought this match was, of course they have to end up doing the dumb shit, the dumb spots where they're all sitting there staggered in a circle, and one chops one, the other chops the other chops the other, you know, because they're staggered, be it Phoenix, the Buck, Penta, and the Buck, you know, so they chop each other in the thing, and then they go and super kick each other one at a time, and again a super kick each other one at a time. You know, it was such a good match up until that point that there's no need for the bullshit, you know. I don't understand why they have to do that stuff. You were having a pretty damn good match, you know. The Lucha Brothers come out on top, which I believe I called that. I don't know if that was I think that was my pick on the podcast last week. Even so, I was surprised. I enjoyed it. I love that they won. I love Phoenix, dude. Like, Phoenix is a beast. Penta's great, obviously. So I'm glad. I have a feeling they might be a transitional champion. A lot of people keep mentioning Santana Ortiz winning the belts in New York in a couple weeks. Or is that next week? Might be next week, actually. But who knows? I mean, I wouldn't hate it. But, you know, Lucha Brothers, give them a little bit of a run. You know, I didn't like when they did that to FTR. FTR got the belts and they literally lost them. I feel like, I don't even remember how long it was, but I feel like it was right away. Right away they lost them. And I just didn't like that. So, it was a nice moment with Penta and his family after the match. Obviously, they rushed him a little bit, which it would have been nice if he was able to show that, but they wanted him up on the ramp to celebrate with Abrahantes and his brother Phoenix. So, you know, what can you do? I mean, that's you know, it is funny though, because he's hugging his kids and there's like blood all over them. They're little. I'm like, holy shit, these kids are gonna be traumatized, you know. Yeah, but it was a nice moment. And next up, we had the Women's Battle Royal. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anna Jay, she put a little pep in her step for this one. You know, like, how about she should have fucking ran down this fast when she was trying to save Ty Conti. You know, that would have been that would have made more sense. You know, here she is booking it down to the ring for her entrance. Shida, like, wow. Like, I swear to God, Shida had the belt for a year, and they treat her like she's the fucking worst wrestler on the planet. She carried that shit for a year, had the best matches for a year, and they fucking dump her so early in this. Like, God, is like, she's been buried since she lost the title. I mean, I get that they're kind of showcasing one woman's thing at a time on Dynamite, but Jesus Christ, man, like, you got it. Like, if you're not going to do it on Dynamite, obviously Rampage is going to feature some stuff. You know, here's the thing. Dynamite and Rampage shouldn't feature the same women. If you're going to do a woman, they should have it. There should be another woman on Rampage, you know, and interchange them throughout the weeks if you're going to have two women's programs going on at once that you're showcasing. And if you're going to bury all the other women, at least give them legitimate stories on Dark. because, okay, you go, well, I'm wasting stories. You're not wasting stories on Dark or Dark Elevation because you're not giving them stories to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well waste them on something instead of wasting the talent on just random fucking matches. So I don't know. I didn't like that. I really fucking annoys me. So Nyla and Diamante doing a handshake. You know, they come in, they do the little handshake, and where the fuck? I don't even know what I'm saying here. Okay, yeah. Instead of continuing, you know, they start going after Anna Jay and the Bunny, right? And then instead of continuing on them, which makes total sense after they just did this whole fucking handshake thing, then they move on to each other. And then it leaves Anna and the Bunny sitting there, you know, going, which makes sense with them girls going at each other. But I mean, it just fucking makes no sense. It's like, yo, you got, like, that's like Tugboat and Earthquake being in the Royal Rumble, right? And they got two other opponents. And this is the time they're tagging, whatever. And they just decide to go at each other instead of go at the opponents. You know what I mean? Made no fucking sense to me. Stupid booking. I don't know if they're trying to do something with Nyla and Diamante. I don't know, but it was just dumb fucking booking. Just really, really made no sense. Okay. The final thing I have here was at the ending with Rosa and Soho at the end where they're both on the apron. I felt it was stupid, it was contrived, and it was phony and anticlimactic. You know what I mean? A phony. It not It was a phony climactic moment where they tried to make it this climatic moment by it being on the apron, but everything on the apron just looked fucking awful. The Battle Royal was dog shit. In general, overall, dog shit. You know, Jade's titties almost popped out like 73 times. She needs she needs a new top. I don't think that top's gonna work anymore, by the way. But yeah, so Soho won this. Of course, we kind of knew Soho was gonna win this. She obviously was the Joker. She was the first big surprise of this show. And I wasn't impressed. And you know, it is a battle royal. They're always fucking sloppy, but wasn't too impressed. We'll get to her later on as well in when we go over the weekly shows there. So, all right, this was fucking great. This part was great where Jericho versus MJF is up next, right? This was a fucking amazing because all of a sudden, the number countdown starts popping up on the screen. Now, this is a Jericho thing. I've seen clips of it. I guess Y2J, I believe, is when he was doing it. I think that's when he first came over to WWF, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I think maybe he came over earlier. But so everybody's excited. They think it's Jericho coming out to the old school style. And then at the end, it just says Jericho's last match, you know, and then MJF's music hits and MJF comes out. So I thought that was brilliant. It was great. It was like you get everybody built up and then boom, Jericho's last match. You know, I thought that was a fucking brilliant usage right there of that whole segment. So we get into the match. So it was a good match. It was a good pace. There was nothing over the top here. There was a lot of good psychology, which, you know, we all know lacks in a lot of pro wrestling today, you know. I know a lot of AEW fans are these fucking indie fans who just suck the dick of high flying and crazy moves, and that's all they want. And, you know, they don't want, you know, they don't understand what wrestling is, you know. Everything to them is no selling and high spots, you know. So, I like that this match was slow paced, had some psychology. You know, the spot where they used Wardlow coming down and Hager and him start brawling to have the other ref out there. Like, if you notice, the refs came out of the back to break up that brawl. So that left an extra ref out there for the spot where MJF hits him with the bat, hits Jericho with the bat, then hits him with the Judas effect, puts Jericho down, goes for the pin, 1, 2, foot on the ropes, 3, like almost to the second, the foot hits the ropes. So a lot of people felt that Jericho was late. I felt that it was perfect, actually. Like, timing-wise, I felt it was perfect. So, Aubrey counts to 3, rings the bell, awards MJF the winner, and like I said, the extra ref was there. No. His foot was on the ropes. Boom. Restart the match. Fucking brilliant. This was brilliant. This is fucking great. Dramatic. Like, this is the shit that I miss about wrestling. The ref misses it. Restart the match. Boom. Jericho, of course, gets the babyface win here. And hopefully this is a done deal with this program, because I really want to see MJF move on to something else. And I'm tired of seeing Chris Jericho. Hopefully Jericho is away for a while for his band touring. I mean, that's all we could hope for, right? I mean, basically. Next up, we had the CM Punk versus Darby match. Now, this was a super anticipated match, of course, since he made his debut. The match was good. It was great. I liked it. I thought Punk looked great. I thought, he looked good. I love that one sequence in a match where Darby went for the coffin drop, and Punk just sits up like Taker. It's like, yo, you're not like, that's like, I'm smart. I'm a veteran. Like, I'm not just gonna lay here for your coffin drop. Like, you're gonna have to do a little better than that to get me. So, and that was great. And everything from there to the end was incredible. The fans were loving it. I thought, Darby does a lot of the reckless shit, but I really thought that this match was good. It was a nice slower paced match, even with Darby being as wild as he is. We knew CM Punk was going over. I knew he wasn't going to lose to Darby. It made no sense. He's been gone 7 years. Everybody was excited to see Punk. He wins. It's his hometown. Crowd erupts. Sting finally comes down in the ring, shakes CM Punk's hand, and then they go to help up Darby. Darby says, "No, I'm gonna get up myself." So I really like this. I mean, I'm not, there's not much to say except I felt it was a good match. I thought Punk did a good job, especially for being out 7 years. And this is something I noticed. Somebody had put up some video clips of a couple of the moves with, there was the go-behinds where Punk kept trying to get out of him. He rolled out of it. He went behind to go behind him, and Darby held on and went behind him again. And that was, there was a spot with Bret Hart and 1-2-3 Kid where they did that. And 2 other spots 1-2-3 Kid and Bret Hart did as well. I can't remember exactly what those spots were off the top of my head, but they obviously took some of those spots and paid homage to those guys with those spots, and they look great. They were great looking spots. So I was really digging that. Once I seen that, I was like, oh shit, okay. It didn't click on me. My memory's dog shit. I can't remember spots in a match, let alone some of the matches I forget. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that was great, man. It was a good, really good, really good match in general. Just the pace and CM Punk out there, doing well for being gone for 7 years, and Darby always doing his thing. So after this match, we had QT and Paul White, right? Basically, who wanted to put this match on the spot, and blah. That's my notes. Not really gonna go into this match. I don't give a fuck about it. I get you want to come down between Darby and Punk and then Omega and Christian Cage. I get it, but you could have had something else in there, Shit, I'd almost rather the fucking women's battle royal, but then I don't know what would drag the show down more, that or Paul White and QT Marshall, Anyway, we won't even discuss that. So then we get to the main event. We got Omega and Christian. All right. I gotta say, Omega and Christian's last match was great. Surprisingly good match. Yeah, I should have known, because listen, I know Christian can wrestle. He's a veteran. He's just fucking wet paint, like he's just like watching wet paint dry to me, It's not even vibrant paint, it's just white, wet paint, So, not the biggest fan of him. However, again, this match was damn good. I even say it here, I'm a Christian hater, but his matches with Kenny have been good. So we all know Kenny's exciting when he wrestles. Christian, during this match, he may have punctured a few ribs or something, dude. I mean, probably not, because he stayed in the ring for the ending and such, but, I mean, he hit that one table and the fucking leg exploded. What did he do? I think he backdropped Omega onto the table or something. I can't remember exactly the move he did. I just watched it over earlier today too. But right after that, the legs of the table that are screwed into the table at the top came right through and just jabbed him right in the lower abdomen. It looked like right under the bottom rib there, and he had a nice red mark there. So I haven't heard anything, so hopefully he's fine. He probably just jabbed him pretty good and gave him a nice scraper cut there, but it was like a little bit of a scary moment. They don't usually explode like that, for the legs to come through like that. It's almost like that whole thing with Fit Finlay where he got his leg sliced by they use that thin layer on the top of those tables, and that stuff is like a knife. And when he went through that one table in WCW, it cut his nerves or whatever. So you hate to. I don't know. I always think of that stuff. So, then we get the finish here was with it was pretty great. It was pretty crazy. I loved it, where Kenny did the one-winged angel from the middle rope and got the pin for the victory. So I like that. I really thought that was sweet. They had traded back and forth. Kenny had kicked out of Christian's move. I forget what the fuck it's called, but he kicked out of his move there, and that's the match continued on until they both get up on the middle rope there. Kenny hits him with the one-winged angel. Maybe I could say that 3 times fast for the victory. So that was great. The ending came with them beating down Christian. Then Jurassic Express comes in and they get beat down. And Kenny's saying the best in the world this, the best in the world that, hometown heroes. Nobody's on my level. When it comes to the AEW belt, the only people that could ever have a chance to beat me are not here, have already retired, or are already dead. Now, when he said already dead, anybody who's familiar with BTE, you kind of think Adam Cole. So that was my first thought, since Adam Cole was killed off on BTE, I believe, when he went to WWF. Then the lights go out and Adam Cole's music hits. So there you go. He hits. Comes down to the ring. He does the Adam Cole baby. He gets the fucking crowd in behind it. Now, I didn't notice this. I heard this on a couple podcasts where he came out of the heel tunnel, and I could have ruined it for me, but I already assumed he was going to do that in the middle of the as soon as he was walking down, I'm like, he's going to stay with the Elite. So it wasn't ruined. I was kind of in the moment. I think most people were in the moment and then really realized he had come out of the heel tunnel. So anyway, they give you the vibe, obviously, when he gets in the ring, like they're going to get into it. And then he super kicks Jungle Boy and hugs the Elite. And he does the cheek kisses with Young Bucks, and so then he has his little say. Then Kenny goes on and he says, "It's time to end the day," and he starts his goodbye, good night. And then Bryan Danielson's music hits, and the fucking place explodes. I mean, like, the place was going crazy, bro. Like, I don't. It was wild. my buddy Eddie, his friend that he works with, went to Chicago. He's from Jersey. He flew to Chicago for the show. I actually was talking to him a little bit while him and Eddie were working together, and I asked him. I said, "Was that the biggest pop of the day of the show?" And he said, "By far the biggest, loudest pop of the show." So, you could kind of tell too. So I pop hard. I mean, I fucking, that's one of the guys I was into recently before AEW happened, so it was good to see him in AEW. It's like bringing two things I have interest in, into one building. And I thought it was great. Before Danielson really gets in the ring and does anything, Kenny scurries off real quick, and then he lets the others get their asses beat. So I really like that. Like, Kenny slinks off, the Bucks take the brunt, and the fans just fucking rabid, just going wild for Danielson here. The booking, in my opinion, the booking of these two right here was brilliant. I like, just really talk about doing it right for two massive debuts. I mean, there you go. I mean, how much better could you book that? Two massive debuts at one time, and just beautiful. So now I'm looking forward to, man. I don't know. Like, I'm so excited about Bryan Danielson. I really am. Like, I can't wait. I'd love to see what they're gonna do with Cole as well. But I think Bryan Danielson for me is one I really wanted in AEW for a while. Another one is Bray Wyatt. Let's see. Hopefully that happens as well. I think if those two come in, those two will be those two I really have high hopes for with what they do with them. So obviously it looks like they're going Danielson Omega for a bit. We'll get into that shortly. So all right, so that's basically it on the pay-per-view. Let's move on to Dynamite. Now, we got Dynamite opens with Dustin Rhodes and Malachi Black. Now, I said this 2 weeks ago that Dustin should have been in that spot of Lee Johnson. Like, who the fuck cares about Lee Johnson? Poor Malachi Black is stuck in limbo while Cody's off filming TV shows, and he's stuck doing his shit gimmick. They're obviously going to wrestle, I believe, in Arthur Ashe in New York. I believe they're going to have their next match. So, anyway, it was interesting when Black held on to the top rope and Dustin went for the snap power slam, but he did it. It was like a ghost snap power slam where he just did the move naturally and nobody was there. So it kind of fucked with my head, man. It like confused my brain. Like, I'm like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, why the fuck did Dustin just whip over like that? It took me a second to register. Okay, well, Black just held on to the ropes, negating the power slam, but Dustin continued with the motion because that's natural. So it just fucked with my head right there for a second. It was pretty funny how my brain needed to catch up with what the fuck was happening. So it was a good match. Dustin's still going strong at his age, and that's always good to see because I've always been a Dustin Rhodes fan. I really didn't follow his shit in WWF, but when he was in WCW, he was one of my guys for sure. So then we had the Lucha Brothers promo. After that, we had a Kingston and Miro promo. This one, like I mentioned, may not be a one-shot deal since they have the promo together. So I'm really happy if this turns into a longer program with these two. And I'm hoping that Kingston comes out with the title. I don't know. Maybe it's a little too soon for Miro to lose it, but either way, it'd be nice to have a nice program with these guys because they're both killing it right now. So we got a Punk promo after this. That's a lot of promos, right? I don't hate them though. I don't hate them. Very well done. When he was going down all the AEW wrestlers and mentioned Bryan Danielson, the crowd went fucking crazy. I definitely love that whole spot right there. So then he shouts out Brian Pillman's sister, Brian Pillman Jr.'s Aunt Linda. I'm guessing that's Pillman's sister. Taz interrupts this, right? So he interrupts it and says, "You never mention anyone from Team Taz's name, and you know, don't keep them out your mouth." And Punk says, you know, he never mentioned their name. And Taz says, "Well, you've mentioned it in promos and stuff and media." I felt this was stupid because he didn't mention any of Team Taz at all in this current promo. It would have made more sense if he mentioned it. I don't know what they were trying to get at or why they went in that direction, but it was a poor way to go about it. Punk basically says he'll take on all of them. Beat me if you can, survive if I let you. Basically using Taz's own catchphrase against him. And all I have to say is poor fucking Punk. He comes in, he has this great thing with Darby, and the very next program they're putting this poor man in is with Team Taz. Jesus fucking Christ. Team Taz is in the middle of the Brian Cage scenario. Let's talk about Brian Cage. His wife saying he's being booked bad and he deserves better. He's the best wrestler in the world. Okay, like, Cage, relax, bro. Tell your wife, take a chill pill. I know he's probably bitching at her, or maybe she's taking it upon herself, or she feels that way. But, bro, you got to relax, man. It's a big company with a lot of great wrestlers, and you get your time, but you got to tell her to back the fuck off. But, yeah, like I said, poor Punk over here. He comes in, he gets Darby, which is great because Darby's on fucking fire, one of the top young talents, and he goes from that right into Team Taz. I feel fucking so bad for this guy. Now, listen, I like Hobbs and Starks and all, but just the whole Team Taz dynamic, I don't know. Let's see, maybe him and Hobbs go at it soon. That'd be fun. After this, we get a Santana Ortiz promo, Ruby Soho promo after that, and she's interrupted by Britt and crew. A good little back and forth. Britt had this great line saying she should go to catering where she spent the last 4 years. So that was a nice little dig at her time in WWF, where, you know, apparently she wasn't being used when she came back, or she was out and spent most of her time in catering because she wasn't really getting anything. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. The other spot where Ruby goes, "I know she's your girl, Tony," and Tony looks all bashful, but I'm gonna kick her ass, you know, like, so. I thought that was a nice little interaction there because you get the whole Tony Britt interaction without getting it, you know what I'm saying? So then we had Hobbs versus Dante Martin, and okay, Rick Knox sucks so bad as a ref. Dante Martin went to hit the ropes, right? He gets to the ropes and he's going to bounce off, and as he's gonna get ready to bounce off and run, fucking Rick Knox runs right in front of the guy. He just fucking runs right in front of the guy. Like, bro, just stay where the fuck you were. You're not getting a better angle by getting on the other side of the ring. I don't know, man. It just fucking looked awful. I'm wondering if Hobbs got hurt here. He looked like something was going on at the end of the match. You know, the ref was, you know, leaning down, talking to him and such, and it looked like everything came on. You know, it looked like they were. It looked like a bunch of people were a little concerned about him. So I wonder if he got hurt there. Then we had a Dan Lambert promo, which was great. Again, he challenges any team to accept a match with Ethan and Scorpio Sky. So continuing on with them guys. Shivani at this after this promo, Shivani goes, "Lambert's like an old man yelling at clouds." I thought that was a great comment. You know, everybody always uses that as anybody who complains about anything, you know, and they're older, they use that analogy of you know, like Grandpa Simpson yelling at the clouds, you know, and the meme and shit. So I thought it was just funny little shot by Shivani at the end there. Next up was the MJF promo. This was great. It was just meant to draw a lot of heat. You know, Pillman Jr. comes out. I mean, he says some shit, man. Like, you know, like, did your father, you know, who got you pregnant? Your father, and this and that, and, you know, so he really was going in. You know, he was dogging Brian Pillman, and Pillman Jr. comes out, and They spar a little bit on the mic. Nothing too crazy. I mean, but it definitely got MJF a lot of heat. MJF got at Wardlow here too, because Pillman was in the ring and he goes, "You gonna help me like you did last night at the pay-per-view?" Basically insinuating that Wardlow, wasn't fucking backing him up. So Wardlow wasn't happy. Wardlow gets in the corner. MJF tells him to move. He gets in the corner. He looked pretty pissed off again, like he was a while back when he was doing his shit to Wardlow. Then Pillman attacks MJF, and eventually Wardlow takes his time, but then he helps out. Griff makes a run in. Wardlow basically flattens the shit out of Griff as soon as he runs in. This is going to be funny because this is in my notes. I left it here, but what's the purpose of the Pinnacle? Because, we have the Pinnacle, they're not together. They're not mentioning them as a group. They're not mentioned. You don't even mention the fucking Pinnacle. Now we got MJF moving towards talking shit about Wardlow, getting him pissed off at him, which, will eventually lead to a turn. So what was the deal with Pinnacle? Like, what is the deal? Like, what they've gone from? Did they literally just do the Pinnacle just to have a play off the Inner Circle so they could play off each other? I really don't get it. And as I say this later on, you'll see. As soon as I have this in my notes, they go and mention the Pinnacle. But this is one of those annoying booking issues I have with Tony Khan. Like the Pinnacle. Okay, the Pinnacle were a thing for like two weeks, and then they just like scattered into the wind like the fucking the Infinity Stones. So I don't know. I think they need to do a better job of keeping them together as a solid, cohesive unit, making them feel like they are unbeatable. They're like they are a unit that you don't want to fuck with. But we don't see them together, so it is what it is. But next up, we had Ruby Soho versus Jamie Hayter. Okay. Something else that drove me nuts on this. Ruby walks to the ring and she basically takes her jacket and just tosses it on the ground. Now, the gear just stays there. Dustin did this earlier, was in the corner, just hanging there. Why do you not have, and I've said this before, I've said this because people have left it up on the ramp and it's stuck there. Why do you not have someone grabbing ring gear from these people when they leave it in the corner or up on the ramp? Why is this gear just staying there? You've had people walk out, see other people's gear, grab it, and throw it. Why is that? There should be somebody running out, grabbing their gear. Someone designated to grab their gear, put it somewhere, and just keep it out of the way. It's professional. You know what I mean? It's professional to me. I don't know why they don't have it. I mean, whatever. What's a little professionalism, for fuck's sake? All right, so during this match, Hayter hit a little bit of a stun gun. I really like that. I was a big Stunning Steve Austin fan, so that was a move I really liked. Like as a kid, I was like a fucking stun gun mark. I used to, me and my little brother were wrestling shit, and I'd fucking hit him with the stun gun all the time. So I loved it. Then after that, she tossed her down to the lower rope, and Soho looked like she almost got her fucking head ripped off. Like her neck looked like it just snapped right back. But it looks like she just missed blocking it, when she got tossed down. So it's a little scary spot. But right after the break, Hayter whips Soho into the corner and starts to run into the corner, and she just stops, like out of nowhere. She just stops, kind of meanders around a little bit, then gets closer, and then Soho hits her with the back elbow. I mean, can we be fluid here? Can we just be a little fluid? Why did you stop? Why did you meander, then slowly walk in and get hit with an elbow? It just made no sense. It looked fucking bad. Then Soho used the top rope to grab Hayter's head with her legs, right? And then Hayter just looks like she's waiting for it. She already got her hands up, waiting for the legs to come in so she could just crunch her arms down on the legs. why are you waiting around like that? Why, like, I don't know. It was just so badly set up and no timing. These women got to get the fucking timing down. You got to work on your timing. Like, every time you had these matches, you just make the women's division look fucking awful. You know, everybody said, Ruby Soho's great, blah, blah, blah. What am I missing? Because I wasn't impressed. Hayter looks great, has a great look. Ruby has a great look. But what the fuck are we doing? It's not all about that. It's about getting in the ring and being able to work a little bit, you know? And it just seems like it's constantly fucking, you know, fucked up, you know? So I don't know. Just kind of disappointed me. Like, I was expecting more. Soho was up on Hayter's shoulders and looked like she wanted Poison Rana or something. And Hayter, it seemed like they just had a, like, where she wanted the Poison Rana and Hayter was like, fuck that, and just held on. And because of the imbalance of someone being on your neck and them doing shit you don't want to do, she eventually just fell over sideways because of the balance and stuff. And that was just another botch, you know? So really fucking bad, like, just really bad match. I was shocked. I was expecting better. I wouldn't say perfect, but I was expecting better. I mean, this was a fucking clusterfuck for most of the match. So, and another thing is, why is Remsburg hugging Ruby Soho at the end of the match? I believe he hugged her at All Out as well. What's up with that? Why? I mean, refs aren't supposed to be one way or another, you know? So, I don't know. Even if they know each other from the indies or whatever, that shouldn't be something they're doing in the middle of a match, you know, or at the end of a match. I'm sorry. You know, because the ref's a ref, man. He's supposed to be impartial. After the match, Britt and crew attack Soho, and then we get Riho and Statlander to come in and make the save. You know, that sets up a match on Rampage, I believe it was. Yep. Next up, we had FTR and Spears versus Uno, Grayson, and Silver. So, in my notes, In my notes, I go, sure, now Wardlow's out there, and now they mention the Pinnacle. I just put in my notes earlier that, you know, what's up with them and the Pinnacle and all that. So, Silver runs into Uno, and this basically puts Uno out of the ring and leaves Silver alone in the ring to take the pin. Dark Order then gets into a little bit of an internal struggle yet again. Where's it going? Who knows? I'm intrigued by it. I don't understand why Grayson wasn't in the ring as well. He wasn't down like Uno. I mean, check on Uno, then get back in the ring. So, a little bit there that's kind of like head scratcher. But, you know, either way, I'm intrigued what they're going to do with this whole Dark Order thing. Who knows? Sooner the better. Because I'm interested in it, believe it or not. Next up, we had a Tully Blanchard promo. He says Sting's been trying to capitalize off someone else's whole career. He always has. He always did. Says he wants TK to book Darby versus Spears next week. So I really like this because, you know, that goes back to early Four Horsemen Sting beefs, you know, in like 88, you know, where Sting, you know, I want to say it was 89 maybe. Sting was joining the Horsemen and then was going to get a shot at Rick and wouldn't give it up, and then they kicked him out. And, you know, just like saying, like, yeah, Sting always tried to capitalize off everybody else, you know. And he tried it with Flair, and now he's trying it with Darby. So I liked it. I really was digging that. Pillman Jr. promo. He challenges MJF at Arthur Ashe Stadium. The Acclaim interrupt, and Caster says he politicked as well, and he'll be wrestling Pillman at Rampage. So after this, we get an Elite promo. As soon as Adam Cole starts off his, he steps in Shivani's face right away. Like, he starts off and he steps right into Shivani's face, and he says, if you look at Britt the wrong way, I'll slap the glasses off your face. Get out of the ring, you nerd. And I really like you. Get out of the ring, nerd. And he fucking, you know, he basically runs him off. For me, I like it. You know, Shivani's buddies with Britt, and, you know, he gets a little friendly with her, and it's a great heat seeker for Cole because everybody loves Shivani, so it puts some heat on Cole as well. So that was a good little spot. He says the fans should be thanking the Elite because without them, AEW wouldn't exist. Says that he'll be wrestling next week, which will be, I believe, Dynamite. And one thing here, he mentions everybody in the Elite except for Anderson and Gallows. So that was weird. That was a little weird, and I don't know why. Kenny says he hates being interrupted. Speaking about the pay-per-view and Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson's music hits again, and he comes out to the ring. Kenny tells the Elite to give him space. So the Elite bounce, and Kenny face-to-face with Bryan Danielson, and Bryan Danielson basically grabs a mic and from Omega, he says he's afraid to take the match with him because he knows Bryan Danielson is better than him and not on his level. Kenny then attacks BD and takes him down and applies, I believe the S-Lock is what he was calling it in WWF. So he basically takes out Kenny, puts him in the S-grip, and Kenny's flailing around, and the Elite come out and attack Bryan Danielson. Then we got Jurassic Express and Kazarian come in for the save, and they all brawl out. So the best part, I don't know like if you were watching closely, but when Jurassic Express and Kazarian ran in to make the save, the best shit ever was Marco Stunt comes in, hops on Brandon Cutler like a fucking spider monkey, and is just punching him down. He's just punching him. And as he's punching him, Cutler's fucking flawlessly selling this shit because he doesn't just stand up while he's fucking like spider monkey attacking him. He's getting punched, and he's slowly falling to the ground. And I mean, props to fucking Cutler for that, because that was fucking brilliant. I fucking was dying laughing. I was like, holy shit, this looked great. Props to Marco for making that look good as well. You know, I shit on Marco a lot. I don't hate Marco, but I do shit on him a lot. And I just thought it was fucking great. He literally hopped in there like a spider monkey on top of Cutler. I popped hard for that. I really did. Yeah, so this was great, man. I mean, you know, it gives Bryan Danielson, it doesn't take long for him to get into action right with Kenny Omega. So, you know, everybody's anticipating that. So, next up we had Mox versus Minoru Suzuki. Jesus Christ, Minoru Suzuki. Now, you know, everybody's excited about. I don't really have that big of a deal with Suzuki. I don't know him that well. You know, I know he's pancreas, whatever, but I don't know enough about him when it comes to wrestling to really have that much interest in him like everybody else. I'm sure I'll get fucking hated on for that, but anyway, it was a solid, hard-hitting match. It looks like Suzuki got hard-weighed, like in his eye. I believe he said he cut his eyelid. From what I understand, he wasn't happy that had happened, and something else he wasn't happy about. I can't recall offhand, but I didn't see how it happened with the hard way. It was near the end. There was nothing groundbreaking here. Just, you know, who's a tougher wrestler? You know, the typical strong style shit. And is Moxley just not doing the driving pile driver anymore? It's almost like a butterfly suplex. It's not even like a paradigm shift or pile driver. It just looks like a butterfly suplex. I don't know. It's just looking less and less like a DDT to me. So that was the main event. Moxley being in his hometown and spent the last 3 minutes. That's right. Suzuki's music got cut off. And, you know, I get being upset about that, especially when at the end of this match you have 3 minutes of Moxley walking around hanging out with the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Before the show went off the air. I don't know what it was about the timing of this match or if that's what they wanted, but I don't know. It was kind of weird. You know, they're usually pretty good with timing on the ends of their shows. So next up we have Rampage. Let's get to Rampage Friday night. We had Pac versus Andrade opens this. Now, okay. I get you want to open the show hot, especially when WWF SmackDown just ended and you want to try to capture that audience. But I feel like this should have been the main event. You know, maybe have a stronger thing, a somewhat stronger match at the beginning of the show and put this as the main event. But anyway, the match was damn good. I'm new to Andrade, and I could say for a fact right now that I really like him. I think he's fucking really good in the ring, man. He's really, really solid. The timing between these two guys was great, and you know that's always fucking huge, especially when it comes to a lot of these younger talents. Their timing's off. You had a moment in this match where Andrade's guy, I believe his name is Jose, distracted the ref. The Lucha Brothers run in to take him out. And then Chavo runs in and knocks Pac out cold with the laptop or tablet or whatever to help Andrade. Andrade gets the win. After the match, on the ramp, Andrade attacks Chavo. Now, this is interesting. He doesn't say why, or we don't know why. Could it be that he wanted to do it on his own, he didn't need the help, or his suspicion about Chavo being the reason that Pac didn't make it? So, I like this. Let's see where it goes. A lot of people think that Ric Flair is going to end up being his manager. Maybe. That'd be great. You know, I'm hoping Flair comes in, you know. So next up we had Darby and promo Sting with Shivani. Basically in reference to Tully calling him out. Sting tells Tully to come out to it face to face, and as he's talking to Tully, when Tully does come out, basically Spears attacks Darby from behind while Sting is not focused on him. And basically runs off into the crowd. Sting finally catches on and tries to go after him, but by that time it's too late. So that was a nice little bait and switch there. They've been doing that pretty well. And you know, Tully. I'm curious, man. You think Tully and Sting might have a match? I mean, be interesting. I don't know. I don't know that they will, but I feel like, geez, some of the words, you know, seems like they might. Next up, we got a promo, two quick promos by Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. Nothing major. Then we get Britt Hader and Rebel versus Soho, Statlander, and Riho. Not great, not bad. And I was surprised it was decent as it was. That's basically my notes. Again, you got Hader and Soho on Dynamite, right? So then you're going to bring Hader and Soho on Rampage. Like, open up the space for the other women. Give the other women an opportunity. Stop just focusing on this one fucking thing for the women. Now you have two shows. Open it up to more than just one fucking thing for women, you know? Because if you just leave it to one segment for women, it's going to be the same fucking segment over and over till that storyline runs its course. And then you're not getting the full roster of women. You know, they're not getting their shine. So, I don't know. I just thought, like, again, like I mentioned earlier, it should have been somebody else different on Rampage. So, now, next up, we have Pillman Jr. versus Max Caster. Everybody knows I love me some Max Caster. I love that these two got a main event. So don't get me wrong. I did say that I felt Andrade and Pac should be the main event. I like that they're giving the young kids the main event. I know Pillman's a local guy, so that's probably a reason they put him in the main event. This is kind of what I was hoping about Rampage, was that you'd get guys that aren't getting the shine, that haven't been getting the shine on Dynamite, finally getting a little bit of shine on the main show. And so that's good. I do think that they should have not been the main event, even though I'm happy they were, if that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense per se. I just, you know, it's kind of like I don't know. It's a kind of a double-edged sword for me, because I do like these guys getting the main event, but I do feel like it was pretty weak main event regardless, because there was no major build to it, like they have a little bit of a feud going, but nothing that isn't mainstream's mind, like all the people that don't watch Dark and Dark Elevation, like they don't really know much about it. So, but anyway, it wasn't a bad match. I like Caster's intensity and his odd move selection. Like when Pillman was on the ground, he hit him with a drop kick in the back, which was interesting. It was just a quick, like Pillman just hit the ground and he didn't just go over and work a shoulder or something with a kick. He just literally just drop kicked him in the back. So it was like an odd move selection. I like it. Caster still has some work to do, especially on his selling and being a little bit more open when things are being done to him. Like when Pillman had him up in the corner for the 10 punches, he was way too balled up. Like he was turned to the side and curled up, and he should have just been wide open taking those shots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get all 10 out. That's when it's the most effective, especially for the crowd, when you're open for those shots. He was balled up, he was covering up, and took the shots. That's something he needs to work on a little bit. Pillman won this with the patented springboard clothesline that his dad used to do. You knew Pillman was most likely going to get the W, especially being the hometown boy. So it was good. It was a good match overall, and I'm glad they got the main event. While I still think that maybe that wasn't the way to go, I am glad they got it though. I mean, yeah, it may sound stupid to everybody, but both ways would be fine for me. I want it both ways, right? But yeah, that's it. That's it this week, man. Hopefully next week, I believe Alan's back for a week, and then I'll be back solo from there out for God knows how long, if not forever. So, like I said, maybe I'll bounce the guys in and out that usually come on when Alan's not around. Being the summer's over, they may have a little more time. So, anyway, like, share, subscribe, hit the thumb, hit the bell. UncensoredAlliance.com, you find everything we do. Twitter, AEW Uncensored. Email us at AEWUncensoredPodcast@gmail.com. On Facebook, throw in the search bar, AEW Uncensored Podcast. We have a page and a group. They'll both pop up. Like the page, join the group. Find us on all third-party podcast applications, Google Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeart Radio, and iTunes. Please write us a review on iTunes. We really appreciate it. And if you want to join the show and call in and tell us some shit you want to talk about from the previous week's shows, join us on Skype. Link in the description. Hit us up. We are live 3:05 Sunday Eastern, 3:05 Eastern every Sunday. So if you want to join the show, you want to watch us live, we're on YouTube and Facebook. So look out for those. And Anthony, thank you. Shout out to you. And John, you as well. So so anyway, hit us up, and we hope to hear from you. Talk to you soon. Peace.